Homelander is uniquely strong for a reason. While most supes possess some form of super strength and durability in addition to their own unique abilities, very few approach the levels of Homelander. Normal individuals enhanced by Temp V have not displayed any power levels beyond the average supe, even though the boys themselves are still working on a plan to kill Homelander once and for all. There might not be a solution. So, what makes Homelander unique? Like all supes, Homelander was created using Compound V, the serum created by Frederick Vought with the intent of creating super soldiers for the Nazi Third Reich during World War II. Frederick Vaught's early versions of the serum were much purer and more concentrated than modern doses, which likely explains the long lifespans of Stormfront and Soldier Boy, two of the earliest Compound V subjects. The fact that Homelander was created from Soldier Boy's DNA means his genes likely had some manifestation of Compound V from his conception, and Homelander's DNA was specially modified by the Vought scientists so that his powers can be more evolved than any other super present in the world. Later, when he was born, he was again exposed to high concentrations of Compound V, which again enhanced his power set. In an attempt to create a replacement for Soldier Boy, Vought continued to expose Homelander to an extremely high dose of Compound V, resulting in his unique power set. So basically, a supie's strength level is directly related to how much Compound V they are exposed to, so a high concentration of Vaught's best version of the serum would lead to immense strength. A more diluted version that was likely cheaper to produce is what was widely distributed to infants and children across the country, resulting in the plethora of minor supes. Vaught's involvement in creating supes is largely a secret, and injecting infants and children with the serum helps maintain the illusion that super abilities occur naturally in certain children. So, Homelander has biological genes that not only surpass those of human beings, but also those of other superhumans due to the fact that he is the only superhero to have fathered a child who inherited superpowers as a result of natural development as opposed to artificial injections of Compound V. Homelander also claims that, unlike all other supes who were born as ordinary children before they were injected with Compound V, Homelander is the result of an immaculate conception where the semen that made Homelander was mixed with Compound V in a test tube before he was artificially inseminated inside of an unnamed woman who presumably died during his birth. Next, we will take a look at the effects of experiments that were done on Homelander. So, throughout his childhood, Homelander was put through painful and traumatic physical experiments and surgeries to test the true limits of his abilities. Some of these tests included having his hand forced into a furnace, being boiled alive, and being forced to fight strength-enhanced Vought guards. Just like some other superpowered individuals who are held captive by Vought, Homelander was placed in a cell, specially designed to hold him when he was a kid, and like other supes, he used to punch the walls of his cell in hopes of getting out. He was forced to fight Vought guards who were much older than him and were powered by Compound V, and in most of these fights, he used to get brutally beaten as a child, and since he was a child, fear was clearly visible in his eyes. Scientists continuously performed surgeries and tests on him in order to find out the true limit of his abilities, and they were probably also working on finding out if he was capable of becoming the face of Vought International after Soldier Boy. In his psychosocial training sessions, Homelander was forced to learn and assimilate concepts ranging from religion to patriotic duty to sports. These systematic trials were designed to shape and perfect his mental fitness, a crude replacement of normal schooling, playing, attending church and family dinners. After learning about the tradition of Thanksgiving in America, Homelander asks his teacher about his own family, wondering if he has a mommy, as depicted in the training imagery. Somewhat reluctant but reassuringly, his teacher states that she can be his mom. Instinctively, driven by comfort-seeking, Homelander embraces her, but he squeezes so hard that she dies. Terrified at this outcome, he scurries into the corner of the lab and cowers under his blue blanket. Experimenters come rushing him, telling Homelander that it will be taken care of and he'll have another teacher shortly. Compound V may have led Homelander down a path toward physical indestructibility, but the emotional abuse set him on a path toward psychological pruning. No lab can emulate a safe home, caring guardian, or loving family. For years, Homelander's physical and emotional needs were not met. Verbal communication was not used to foster belongingness, comfort, and self-esteem. Physical affection was not used to promote security and safety. What he needed most, alongside proper guidance, limits, and consequences, was unconditional love. Not love for what he could do, but for who he is. Experiments done on Homelander in comics. In the comics, Homelander is given a Superman-like origin story in that he appeared out of nowhere and landed on Earth as a baby. His strength was such that he even created a crater on the surface in the process. He is a benevolent alien who decides to stay on and help mankind. The truth is far from the alien origin story. Homelander, in comics and on the show, was brought up in a laboratory like a test subject and hardly given any affection as a child. In the source material, it was also mentioned that he killed the entire team of doctors and nurses that was present inside the hospital room at the time of his birth. Homelander's mother also died on the table, giving birth to him. She had mental health problems, which Vought had taken advantage of and made her the sacrificial lamb for their little experiment. The manner of his birth is repeated another time when his clone son is born to Becca Butcher. The baby killed Becca and was floating in the air above the bed when Billy Butcher came across him and instantly killed him off. To say that Homelander had an unusual childhood would be an understatement. He was so feared and everyone was so terrified of how a childish tantrum might end up with their death that he was hidden away in a silo in South Dakota and chained to a nuclear bomb to make sure he wouldn't do anything untoward. The one on the show was kept in a containment chamber, but he didn't have anything as drastic as that happened to him. In the source material, just like Black Noir was made from Homelander's genetic material, so was Homelander himself, crafted from taking the DNA of the Nazi supe, Stormfront. Stormfront himself was an experiment, born from Hitler's desire to have a super soldier on his side. He was injected with Compound V, made to fight in the war, and then smuggled off to America, where his genetic material was stored in preparation for future supes. Show Stormfront doesn't quite say there's a direct link between them, but she does mention that Homelander was the perfect specimen and just the kind of man she and her husband, Old Man Vought, had envisioned would carry Compound V in his veins. So, all the experiments that were done on Homelander made him near invincible, but it also left him with a lot of weaknesses. We all know that Homelander at his core is a sinister twist to Superman. Even if he does not share a weakness like kryptonite with Superman, he does share a few other things. Homelander's X-ray vision cannot see through zinc, while Superman's cannot see through copper. Another weakness he shares with Superman is his vulnerability to high-frequency sounds. Both of them have super hearing, but it is often more of a disadvantage rather than a superpower. We have seen that when Butcher needed to rescue Becca and Ryan, the boys deployed Vought-sonic speakers, broadcasting at a frequency of 190,000 Hz. This frequency is substantially above the normal hearing range of any human, but since Homelander has super hearing, it was painful enough for him to seek the source and destroy it. This gave enough time to Butcher to rescue Becca and Ryan. This weakness of Homelander can be substantially amplified again, potentially resulting in being fatal to him. So, as we already know, Homelander was created from the DNA of Soulja Boy, with certain additions to give him some extra powers. Recently we found out that Soulja Boy was held in captivity with a gas called Novichok that kept him contained. This gives rise to the possibility that Novichok could be used against Homelander as well. Now, since Homelander is a modified version of Soulja Boy, we can't say for sure if it will work or not. However, if it does work, Homelander could be contained in a similar way as Soulja Boy was. As far as I think, a contained Homelander is far better than a free Homelander, if not a dead Homelander. And it has already been made pretty clear to us by now that Homelander cannot be taken down with any weapon in the arsenal of humans. However, in the comic books, the only thing that was able to take down Homelander was himself. So, a clone was made just in case the tyranny of Homelander went way over the top. Can you guess who this clone was? Let me tell you, it was Black Noir. In the comics, Black Noir was the clone of Homelander, created as a failsafe if Homelander ever goes rogue. However, in the show, Black Noir was given a different backstory and was made much less powerful. In comics, This clone was the one who ultimately took down Homelander and then was killed by the military and Billy Butcher. In the live-action series, Ryan, his son, is the only person who can grow to be as powerful as Homelander. So, who knows, maybe because of what he did to his mom, Ryan might end up taking Homelander down. I guess we will have to wait to find out. So yeah, that's all for this video, and thanks for watching.